Hey folks, Pat here from DNS. This Madison area fishing report is current as of March 15th. Just a couple quick things to touch on before we get started. Bonus turkey authorizations go on sale on the 18th, which is this Monday. The way this works is Zone 1 goes on sale March 18th on Monday, and then Zone 2 Tuesday, Zone 3 Wednesday, and so on. They go on sale every morning for each zone at 10 a.m. You can get those online and log on through the Go Wild license portal. Otherwise, you can come down here to the shop or any place that sells licenses through the DNR, and sales begin sharp at 10 a.m. For zones 1 and 2, we'll likely have a line of people here because that's kind of our area. But yeah, they go on sale at 10 a.m. and they're usually burned through them pretty quick. So yep, just wanted to let folks know about that. DNR finally got around to getting their fishing regulations out. So they are available online right now. You can log onto their website and find them. Otherwise, my paper copies are coming in the mail. I wanted to let folks know DNR sends out these press release things to me. And so they have 54 adopt or tackle loaner sites around the site. And these are great spots where you can swing by if you want to get into fishing but don't want to invest in a pole and just want to check it out. You can borrow sites. I know one right over here at the Warner Park Rec Center is one, but anyway, that equipment gets used, of course, and needs to be maintained. And so the DNR is looking for adopt a tackle site volunteers. So if you got maybe some spare time and wouldn't mind swinging by it, every so often and fixing tangled reels or rigging rods up, stuff like that, just to maintain that equipment, it sounds like the DNR could use a little bit of a hand there. Otherwise, shop news, we got the spring seminar series coming up April 18th. Noah Humfeld, Dave Rowe on the 25th, Kyle Zempel on the 2nd. Those are Thursday evenings here at 7. Always a fun time to be doing those here at the shop. Otherwise, speaking of other stuff going on at the shop, we're getting spring stuff out. Pretty much all the winter stuff's put away, but spring stuff is still getting put out and organized. We got a bunch of rods out, combos, got those 13 combos back that everybody liked last year. Also a bunch of St. Croix rods. Got a good selection here, but if there isn't anything you want, I can special order pretty much anything you want, but especially on the St. Croix side of things, very easily and get it here usually in just a couple days. Other exciting news, we got a bigger fish tank for our fish, so it's nice to see these guys swimming around and have a little more space. Unfortunately, we lost the walleye we had in there, but the panfish are hanging tough and the smallmouth, and yeah, happy to see them have a little more space, but that means we had to move our catfish stuff a little bit, so now we have the catfish corner here, and yeah, some more stuff. We'll be filling that stuff out this week, but it's nice to see some catfish stuff. A lot of folks getting out to do that. As far as announcements go, on the wall here, we got on the front door, we got the Wisconsin Muskie Expo this weekend, if you're a muskie person. Otherwise, if you're a local muskie person, the Capital City chapter of Muskies Inc. has their Muskie School on the 23rd at Wanakee High School. That's a great event with a bunch of local speakers, but also some regional folks coming through. The Spring Fair fundraiser for Southern Wisconsin Trout Unlimited. Early bird tickets are on sale right now. This is a great time, great prizes. The food is just awesome, and yeah, it benefits a great cause in Trout Unlimited. Kyle's got his Drinking with Scissors. The second to last event is the 19th. So I guess, what is that, Tuesday at the Muska Lounge? They kick those off at 7 o'clock. Great social event. Also got the posters here reminding you that effective April 1st, the walleye bag limit goes to 3 statewide pretty much. And then also the Mendota panfish daily bag limit on April 1st goes to 10 fish in total. And that is just on Lake Monona. So I do get a lot of calls, folks, thinking it's the entire chain, but it's just Lake Monona there. So I think that pretty much does it for announcements. Thanks for hanging in there. We got, let's see. Well, it was warm this last week with record-breaking temps. A couple days pushing 70 degrees. We've had a dry spring so far, and with water levels being so low, we really needed the good soaking rain we got all day yesterday. I think we got close to 1.5 inches here on the north side. Looks like things will stay dry with cooler, more seasonal temps in the forecast through this next week. But with game fish season closed until May 4th, and this warm week we've had, though, has had a lot of people getting out fishing and getting the boats out. A lot of folks enjoying really the many opportunities that still are around, even though game fish season is closed. I've been hearing about some great panfish action around town and beyond. Early season catch and release bass is open now, and with water temps rising, folks are starting to find some fish. Even though water levels have been low for this time of year on the river, folks are getting up there and finding walleye and sauger. A lot of them at the dams are in deeper holes with fathead minnows, hair jigs, and walleye flies, all working well. Of course, this is a great time of year to get out and do some early season catch and release trout fishing. So And like I said, there's just a lot of stuff going on, and spring is just a great way to get out and kind of shake off the winter blues there, even though winter really wasn't much of a winter. Anyway, up here on Cherokee, panfish action up there has been spotty. A few crappie here and there, and some bluegills. The panfish, or I'm sorry, the bass folks casting up there for bass have been a little frustrated with mostly small pike getting their lures. But yeah, the bass, like I said, that action should improve pretty soon here. The 113 bridge, there's been some great crappie bite action going on down there. The action can be spotty, but when they're in there good. Also, some perch schools of perch moving through, although most of those fish have been small. Not any word from any catfish folks down there yet, but those fish are staged out here in North Bay and headed up towards uh, the 113 bridge area as we speak. So it won't be long. They'll be hanging out in there, and they'll be around. That bite should be good. It usually is until about June. Also, a bunch of small pike in this area up here, annoying some of the panfish and bass anglers up there. But a lot of pike in the system right now. Like I said, catfish up in the North Bay here, but otherwise, with game fish season closed and Mendota being so big and deep, I don't get a lot of reports. If you're looking for panfish, though, this little inlet at Mendota County Park can be awesome. Pheasant Branch area can be great. Marshall Park, Spring Harbor, any little shallow inlets or bays. University Bay can be awesome. Tenney Park over here by the breakwall can be good. But of course, I do want to remind folks that the area below the locks here down to Johnson Street is a closed fish refuge this time of year. So no fishing allowed there. Lake Monona, kind of the same deal as Mendota. Don't hear a lot of reports off the lake itself. Great area to fish can be where the Yahara River dumps in here. A lot of fish stack up in there. Some good panfish in there and some bass too. Haven't heard much off the wall. Some folks trying for crappie there and not finding any. Actually getting some walleye, which of course you can't target this time of year. But the good crappie bite's been down here on the triangles and in Monona Bay. With some bluegills mixed in there and some decent fish from what I hear. Lake Winger's got a lot of small panfish in, but some giant largemouth if you want to try your hand at the early bass action over there. Otherwise, the area below the Winger Dam over here is also closed as a fish refuge, so no fishing below there. And I have heard that muskies have started to pair up and are even seen. I've heard about a couple being seen trying to jump the dam there, so that's always a kind of a neat spectacle to go check out. That action should, pick up here into the early part of April at least. Anyway, so otherwise on Monona, shallow bays, same thing. Turville Bay is a good spot to check. Weechawbuck Bay, or formerly known as Squaw Bay. These little channels in here can be good and hold panfish early spring. Another good early spring spot is the lagoons up here at Winnequa Park, can hold some good fish. Down to Lattice Park. The water is coming up, and I'm sure the rain we got yesterday helped a lot, but the launch there is very shallow from what I hear. But this whole area, this little bay in here and then out to Upper Mud can provide some fantastic spring panfish action. Nice shallow area, warm water. In the not only in the dredge hole over here, but all over through here, even up in these little cuts, little ditches up there. But anyway, down on Wabisa, I haven't heard much out of there either. Heard about some panfish, some bluegills being caught down here on the south end of the lake. I think I heard something about some crappies somewhere between Babcock and Bible Camp, but otherwise haven't heard a lot going on there with game fish season being closed. The Babcock boat launch is open and the gates are open, the pier's in. The only thing is the water is very, very shallow here, so use caution when launching there. And also a reminder that the area below the Babcock lock and dam is closed as a fish refuge down to this Exchange Street, so no fishing allowed there. The upper, not Upper Mud, on Kegonsa down here. Good spot to check out early season is always the fish camp area. You got the Yahara River dumping in here, and this is all shallow flats out here, so that area warms up pretty good. Can be some great panfish action there. Otherwise, I haven't heard much out of Kegonsa. Otherwise, down south of here, we got the Rock River, which of course is open to game fish. So I've heard about a few walleye and pike being picked up at the Indian Ford Dam. Lake Koshkonong, haven't heard much off the lake itself, but I know folks are fishing, from the mouth of the lake all the way up through Black Hawk Island, Fort Atkinson, up to Jefferson, and especially the Jefferson Dam has been productive for walleyes. A lot of those folks using walleye minnows. Hair jigs and walleye flies are super popular up here and very effective. So the dam is great, but also, if you can find deeper holes all the way down to Kashkanan, some great walleye action there. Let's see. I've heard that the Beaver Dam catfish bite, eater catfish up there, bite is picking up and it has been pretty good. So that's worth a look. I haven't heard anything out of Devil's Lake lately, but the Wisconsin River, of course, is open for walleye and game fish over there. So some great opportunities. If I was going to go over there, I'd focus mostly at dams, which can be very busy. Otherwise, deep holes, but dams are super great spots to check out. Walleye, sauger bite, there's been great. So, we're talking Prairie du Sac, Wisconsin Dells, Castle Rock, Petenwell. All those are good spots. There's been a good panfish bite over to Lake Wisconsin in a lot of your shallow bays, Moon Valley, Harmony Grove, what was that, Sunset Bay. Any of the shallow bays have been good. Oki down here, there's been a good perch bite down there. Also up near the grade, if you can find a rocky, shallow shoreline, you'll likely find some perch. So that's been some good news lately. Otherwise, yeah, Wisconsin Dells Dam's been good. I've heard a lot about good numbers, but smaller fish. Castle Rock Lake at the dam has been good. Robert Campbell just made a video. He was fishing below the Castle Rock Dam. They got a ton of smaller walleyes, but a few decent ones mixed in. Same deal over to Petenwell at the dam there. Otherwise, over to the river, the walleye bite continues to be good up and down the river at all the dams, lock and dams, and the perch bite. They're just slamming perch over there. So at a lot of the dams, and then other bays, DeSoto, stuff like that. They're getting some fish out there. So the perch bite's been really great. The chance at some truly jumbo fish. Otherwise, over to Milwaukee, the brown trout and steelhead bite continues to be good in the harbors. But also those fish are starting to move up the tributaries. I've heard about more and more steelhead moving up into the tribs with some brown trout still hanging on. That rain we got yesterday, I'm sure, pushed more fish up. So I would say that fishing for steelhead in the tributaries is going to be good probably now until, the first week of April or something like that. Usually is when it kind of winds down. But, not just Milwaukee, all the way up the East Coast, any of your tributaries are great for getting, some good steelhead action. Otherwise, fishing up here to De Pere is always very popular. All the rivers, the tributaries that dump into Lake Michigan this time of year are holding some big walleyes. Otherwise, like I mentioned in the intro, this is a great time of year to get out and enjoy some early season trout fishing. You can't keep the fish. They all have to be immediately released, and only artificial lures can be used. But just in Dane County, we have over 60 miles of public access to trout streams. So that's fantastic. There's a lot of great areas to fish close to here. This time of year, the bite window is starting to open up a little earlier. It can be tight, but midday is a great time to be out. So bankers hours on the opportunities to fish. If you get out, look for deeper holes. Run on the spinning gear side of things. Run a Rapala countdown can be great, or a crappie tube jig or something like that. Run through some of these deeper holes slowly. I don't think the trout are quite chasing down spinners yet, but spinner's always a good option, like a Panther Martin. Otherwise, on the fly side of things, woolly buggers and nymphs are always a great option. Pink squirrels still killing it out there. Really the only nymph I'd use this time of year. Otherwise, there are some flies coming off, caddis or stone flies, and I've heard about a few caddis coming off. Otherwise, for our Happy Fly Day feature, I was just going to talk about blue-winged olives. So obviously carry way more versions of a blue-winged olive here at the shop than I even have in this picture. This just kind of shows different cycles and different styles of blue-winged olives. I think I'm just going to talk about them through the next few weeks and go over them. Like I got some beadhead pheasant tails and different beadhead mayfly nymphs, and then also emerger patterns are great this time of year, and running those through runs can be really great. Shallow riffles, stuff like that, or even deep runs. Maybe trail a pink squirrel behind it, or even like a zebra midge or something small. But yeah, I've been hearing about some blue-winged olives coming off, or betas, people that like to be fancy call them. But yeah, so we'll be talking about a lot of those. But the blue-winged olives are hatching, and yeah, it's a great time to be out on the stream. And so feel free to call the shop if you have any questions, either on the report or about trout fishing, or even just life in general. 241-4225. We can try to point you in the right direction. Otherwise, post your comments and questions below. Can try to point you in the right direction there. Post your catches down there too. And do appreciate you tuning in. And we will talk to you next week. Thanks so much.